Our today's topic is heat map. Heat map is a popular two-dimensional data visualization technique. Here we use different color to visualize and pointing out. Variation of color by intensity. We can analyze here with the help of different variation of color. We may measure the intensity of that particular color. What is that? Maybe of different color, maybe of different shades, and maybe of different tone. Now, if we know the types of heat map, we can automatically analyze what is the basic application or module application of heat map in data science as well as data analytics. The first type is basic matrix. Basic matrix heat map is used for gene expression. So gene expression is a process by which the genetic information transformed into product. That means for transition DNA, RNA, and for translation the value of protein, and for regulation control technique. So we may use basic matrix for gene expression. Regarding clustered heat map, it is basically used for customer segmentation. Nowadays we know that customer segmentation is popularized because on the basis of customer numbers we can calculate the amount of sales as well as profit. So customer segmentation is a process by which we can segregate customers into groups. So here we use different types of clustering technique like demographical clustering. On the basis of customer, we segregate on the basis of their age, income or location. Sometimes we use the behavioral clustering system so that we can know about the spending pattern of that particular customer. Another way, the psychographic customer clustering, we can segregate the customer on the basis of their lifestyle. Another one is annotated. It is useful in the dashboard. Now the dashboard is very popular everywhere. We find the dashboard is created on the basis of the dashboard. We find the key points on the basis of different colors. So it analyzes the entire segment of dashboard presentation. So popularly here we find Tableau as well as Python is useful. The important tool is Tableau and Python. Then geographic heat map. It is useful for population study as well as customer segmentation study also. On the basis of location, we can search the market regional basis. Or if we enter into the new market, if we want, then we can easily analyze this geographic heat map. Another important heat map is point density. It is hotspot detection, useful for hotspot detection. So point density is useful on the basis of the pointer and the color is mentioned there. The popular tool is ArcGIS or QGIS. As we know that Google is very useful application in the case of selecting the location. So here we use this point density heat map. In case of crime also, we may point out the location. It is not only useful in business but also useful for crime detection or fraud detection. Next one is 3D heat map. 3D heat map basically used for medical purpose. CT and MRI, in that case we used it. Here the useful tool is So here we link the correlation with the attributes and get the result automatically. That is modern days in AI interoperability cases we use this multivariate heat map. Now we are moving to another concept, that is scatter diagram. Scatter diagram also a visual tool. With the help of scatter diagram, what we find? We find the two variables as well as their relationship. So it is a graph showing relationship between two variables. What we visualize under scatter diagram? We can visualize the correlation in between two variables. The correlation may be of three types: positive, negative, and zero. Plus, minus, and 0. If we find the value of one variable increasing as well as the value of another variable also increasing, it is called positive correlation. In the reverse case, if the value of one variable is decreasing, side by side the value of another variable is also decreasing, we can say it is also positive correlation. In case of negative correlation, the value of one variable increasing, automatically the value of another variable is decreasing. In case of zero correlation, there will be no relation in between two variables. For example, the height and weight of a baby up to a particular age is positive correlation, and the demand as well as price is the example of negative correlation. Now if I say the weight of the student is 80 kg, is there any possibility of scoring 80 marks in a paper? That is the zero correlation. Here we find there is no relation in between variables. Second thing is pattern recognition. We can find the trend or cluster of data. Is the pattern is upward pattern or trend or downward pattern or trend, we can find with the help of scatter diagram. Side by side we can measure the outlier. Outlier means far from the trend. How far a particular data or more than two data far from the particular trend, that indicates the outlier. We can predict the outcome on the basis of historical data. If we say y equal to function of x, that means y is the dependent variable and x is independent variable. So on the basis of that, we can predict the value of dependent variable. Suppose y is say